All right, Algebra 2, welcome to your game plan video for the first part of Chapter 4, 4143 game plan. I'm going to start here on page 4. Definitely copy this one down if you're going to be gone, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is one we're going to do in class for sure. We're going to learn how to graph parabolas here, the U's or the igloos, by finding the vertex. Vertex is negative b over 2a. Then you plug that value in for y. What's attached to x squared is a. What's the middle term is b. So if b is negative 2 and a is 1, then the opposite of b over 2 times a would be the opposite of negative 2 over 2 times 1. That's 1. So that is the x-coordinate of the vertex. That's why 1 is right there. Then you plug 1 in for x, like I did here. 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. That's a negative 4. 1, negative 4 is my vertex, and I plotted that right there. Then just like when we graph the absolute values, do some symmetry. Go one to the left, one to the right. Just plug 2 in. Again, f of 2 is the same thing as plugging 2 in for x. Plug 2 in for x, you get negative 3. Because of symmetry, you get negative 3 both those spots. Then plug 3 in for x, you get 0. Because of symmetry, you get 0 in both those spots. So we plot those 5 points. Again, showing you class, that'll make a little bit more sense. Same thing here, negative b over 2a. B is 4, negative b would be negative 4 over 2 times negative 2. You get 1, you're going to plug 1 in for x. When you plug 1 in for x, you get 3. 1, 3 is the vertex. In this case, it's the highest points. I'm going to go 1 to the left, 1 to the right. So I'm going to plug 2 in for x, and I get 1. So when I plug 0 in for x, I get 1 as well. Then I'm going to plug 3 in for x. When I plug 3 in for x, I get negative 5. So when I plug negative 1 for x, I get negative 5. Notice it makes the igloo there. We'll call it. All right, next page I'm going to help you out on is page 6. This is page 6. This is another graphing one. This time it's in vertex form. When it's in that form, 2 is the x-coordinate of the vertex, and this positive 3 is the y-coordinate. So 2, 3 is the vertex. We don't have enough room here. So notice I went 2 to the left, 2 to the right, because of that 1/2. You don't want to graph any decimals. So I went 2 to the left, 2 to the right, another 2 left, another 2 to the right. Plug 4 in for x, you get, I believe, 1. So when you plug 0 in for x, you get 1. Plug 6 in for x, you get negative 5. I just plotted this wrong. So just do that. Here the vertex, again, you set this equal to 0, so it's the opposite. The vertex is negative 1, negative 4. So I'm going to go 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Plug 1 in for x, get 4. Plug 2 in for x, get 14. That's going to be a little harder to graph, so sorry about that one. All right, folks, going to move on here a little bit. The next page, it looks like I have some answers. Don't pay Yogi attention, he's whining in the background there. I believe 17 through 19 here is already a video. Let's take a look at page 20. We've done page 20 in class. What are the x-intercepts? X-intercepts are when this function equals 0, so we're going to factor this. All right, what multiplies to 8 and differs by 2, x minus 4x plus 2. We're doing a good job factoring. Just set both parentheses equal to 0. Cover up property, x minus 4 equals 0, x plus 2 equal to 0. All right, and these are just factoring review. What multiplies 21 differs by 4. X minus 7, x plus 4. Here's x minus 8, x minus 4. You know, what multiplies to 32 adds to a negative 12. Difference of 2 perfect squares, x plus 8, x minus 8. Just factor out the x that they have in common. Factor out the 6x they have in common in 6. Number 5 there, we're going to factor by grouping. All right, the first two have a 3x in common. Factor that out, left with a 6x minus 1. Next one has a 4 in common, left with a 6x minus 1. All right, next one here, we'll multiply to 22, differs by 9. X minus 11, x plus 2. We'll multiply to 40 as 13, x plus 8, x plus 5. All right, then we'll do a lot of this together. We're going to go to next, page 23 here, page 23. Notice I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to put it in different order. I'm going to put the x's together and the y's together. Then it's factoring by grouping. The first pair has a 3x in common. Again, when you factor out, you're dividing, so you're left with x plus 5. Then the next two terms have a 2y in common. When you divide both by 2y, you're left with x plus 5. So the x plus 5s go together in one parentheses, and the 3x plus 2y go in the other. Next one here, again, I'm putting the a's and then the b's together there. So those first two terms have a 16a in common, leaving you with 2x minus 3y when you divide out. Next two have, I think they're both divisible by 6 and b, leaving you with 2x minus 3y. Look, when both those parentheses are equal, we know we factored it correctly, and I've done so over there. So the arrow actually means, notice how these, you could have divided them both by 2, put a 2 on the outside, then you'd have 8a plus 3b, but we'll leave it like that. Same thing here with number 3. Now I did leave it in that order. Factor out a 6a, you left with 3 minus 4y. Factor out a 16b, you left with 3 minus 4y. Again, this can go further. You can factor out a 2 and be left with 3a plus 8b. Literally almost the opposite of the last one, right? Write a quadratic with the given roots. So if x equals 8, that means x minus 8 equals 0. If x equals negative 3/5, that means x plus 3/5 equals 0. Multiply this by 5, the denominator. That's going to become 5x plus 3. This is x minus 8, first outer, inner, last. You're going to do x times 5x squared, x times 3x, negative 8 times 5x, negative 8 times 3. You're just going to have to combine the middle term, those x's, and that's how that factors, or foils, I'm sorry, distributes. If x equals negative 2 and x equals 6, and x plus 2 is in a parenthesis, x minus 6, and just distributes. X squared minus 6x plus 2x minus 12. The negative 6x plus 2x gives you x squared minus 4x minus 12. I like that question a lot. Next page here, 24. We should have done this, I believe. We'll multiply 28, adds to 11. X plus 7, x plus 4, set it equal to 0. Here, guess and check. You could also use the AC method. Again, we're doing a pretty good job of guess and check. We just started that. There's only one way to get 2x squared. It's got to be 2x and x. So what multiplies to 12? One of them's got to be negative. Again, we're just guessing this. Put the negative 3 and the 4. That gives you the negative 12. That's negative 3x. That's 8x. 8x minus 3x is the 5x that we wish to get. And then set those parentheses equal to 0. You got 2x minus 3 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. Those are your two solutions. This next one, it's got to be set equal to 0, so subtract 16 from both sides, and then divide both sides by 2. You're left with x minus 4, x plus 2 equals 0, so x equals 4, x equals negative 2 on that one. All right, 26 was already in a video. Here's some answers. We did 27 class. Here's some answers. 1 multiplies to 15 adds to 8, x plus 5, x plus 3. 1 multiplies to 18 adds to 9, x plus 6, x plus 3. Pluses are the easiest example. 1 multiplies 35 adds 12, x plus 7, x plus 5. 1 multiplies to 1 adds to 2, x plus 1, x plus 1. That's x plus 1 squared. 1 multiplies 12 adds to 8, x plus 6, x plus 2. All right, I did a few on 28 as well. Again, if you missed classes, how you factor. This time, if it multiplies to a positive and adds to a negative, it's got to be two negative factors, x minus 9, x minus 3. Number 6 here, x minus 9, x minus 1. Again, the order doesn't matter there. Next one, multiplies 6, 3, adds to negative 16, x minus 9, x minus 7. Here we got x minus 20, x minus 2. And here we got x minus 6, x minus 5. That's page 28. On this next one, this is on page 29. 1 multiplies to 35, and because it's negative, differs by 2. That'd be 7 and 5. Middle term's negative. It's got to be x minus 7, x plus 5. This next one, what multiplies to 10, and because it's negative, differs by 3. Well, 5 and 2 multiplied to 10 differed by 3. Middle term's negative, so the bigger factor's got to be negative. And I didn't finish that one, but it's x minus 5x plus 2. And what multiplies to 42, because it's a negative, differs by, that's 1. Be x minus 6, or 7, x plus 6. What multiplies to 32 and differs by 4? 8 and 4, middle term's positive, so the bigger factor is positive there. And then here are your last two. What multiplies to 30, differs by 7, positive 10, negative 3. What multiplies to 15, it differs by 2. x minus 5, x plus 3. Page 31, which we might have, I believe we've done in class. That's how number 2 factors, x minus 7, x plus 6, x plus 9, x minus 4. You're going to factor out to 2. You're left with x squared minus 25. That gives you 2, x plus 5, x minus 5. All right, this is page 32. This is a relatively easy page. Write each one in standard form. I'm just gonna FOIL. So x minus 6x minus 6, I FOILed that right here. Just do a little bit of work. That's going to give you x squared minus 12x plus 36, because you're going to have the minus 6x minus 6x twice. And you multiply all 3 of those terms by half. So you have this down here, y equals 1/2 x squared minus 6x plus 18. Don't forget about that minus 5. Give me that final answer. This next one here, I did the foiling of this first. Then I simplified those like terms, and then everything in there gets multiplied by -4. Again, we should be able to go over these in class. We might have finished with these on Friday. Those are how those factor, x minus 9, x plus 5. Factor out the 4, then you have a difference of 2 perfect squared. It's x plus 3, x minus 3. Guess and check. 3x and x is the only way you get 3x squared. What multiplies 21, negative 21, so positive 7, negative 3, 7x, negative 9x gives you the negative 2x that you need. Factor out the 5x they have in common. That's it. We'll do number 14 in class together. On page 33, it's really the same as before. You're going to do x minus 4, x minus 4. That's going to give you x squared minus 8x plus 16. That goes right there. Multiply everything in there by -1/2. Then you're going to subtract 10. There you go. Next one, I'm going to FOIL this. It's going to give you x squared minus 4x plus 5x. That's plus x minus 20. Multiply everything by -3. All right, 10 and 12, we factored on Friday, I believe, x minus 7, x plus 5. Factor out the 5 they have in common, difference of 2 perfect squares, 5 times x plus 6, x minus 6. Factor out the 7x they have in common, you're left with x plus 7. Guess and check, what multiplies the 3x squared? It's got to be 3x and x. What multiplies -10? We did positive 5, -2 there. That's -2x plus 15x. Again, for some of you, you'll be guessing a lot. That's okay. All right, and then it looks like all the other ones I do want to do in class sometime. Again, this won't be due till, maybe the end of class on Thursday for regular Algebra 2 honors. We'll talk maybe Wednesday. Anyway, this is your game plan video. This is Yak Math Video signing out.